All right, I'm back. I'm in East Central Mississippi. I saw 95% pine probably. I saw white oak, red oak, and stuff like that, but down here it's about 90. We probably have, I don't know what the pine to hardwood and stuff ratio is that's growing, but it's probably somewhere between 60 and 75% pine. Maybe more than that where I'm at, but I do saw some oaks and all. But for us, this is gonna be sort of a general breakdown of what I do. If I go mobile sawmill for you, I charge $130 an hour. I was at 100, now I got some pretty good help and all, which I charged more before if I had help, but I charge $130 an hour from the time I leave here until I get to your job site and I get done for the day. Say I leave here at 5 o'clock in the morning, I get done sawing at your place, packed up, hooked up, everything at 5 o'clock, then, or we'll just say 3 o'clock, that'd be 10 hours. So that would be $1,300 I'm gonna charge that customer. If I go by myself, I'll charge $100. They supply the help. If they don't, I'll pull the wood off, but instead of it taking 10 hours, it's probably going to take 15, 16 hours, so it's going to take more. It's going to run you about the same price. But say you bring logs here, or it can be my logs. We'll use this lumber for example. This is a 1 by 16. This is about 10 foot, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 10 foot. But the guy wanted 1 by 16, 8 feet, and I had a 10-foot log, so I just sawed it, and I'll cut that off and I can use it. But anything from, I'm gonna charge you for a 1 by 4. If I cut it 3/4 of an inch, I'm gonna charge you for a 1-inch board. If I saw a 1 1/4 inch board, I'm gonna calculate your board foot on 1 1/4. If it's whatever, you know, that's just what I do. And the other thing, from a 1 by 4 to a 1 by 12, between 8 feet long and 16 feet long. Well, not with a 12 is a little different, but you know, general stuff. Main stuff that I saw is 8 to 12 feet. I haven't never had anybody say I want a 1 by 12, 16 foot long, so it would probably cost more. But you know, a 1 by 4, 2 by 4s, 2 by 6s, anything like that, from 8 feet to 16 feet, I charge 75 cents a board foot. I don't care what it is. It can be a 6 by 6 post. I'm gonna charge you 75 cents a board foot. If you want a 7 foot post or board, I'm charging you $1. If you want a 18 foot or 20 foot, depending on what you want, I'm gonna charge you $1. If you want a 8 by 8 post or a 10 by 10 post, a 8 by 8 really is about it. But if you want an 8 by 8 that's between 8 and 12 feet long, that's our common. I charge $1 a board foot. When you start getting into your 10 by 10s, 12 by 12s, and your longer stuff, it goes from $1 to $1.50. And the reason why is it takes such a large log to get it. Say these 1 by 16s here. I mean, you gotta have, that's a big log right there. That log is probably 28 inches. That right there is the common size log. That's a 18-inch log. And it takes a very large log, sort of like these trees. I mean, they look big standing up. I mean, y'all, I don't know if I didn't show them around here, but I mean, that's a big tree there. Most of these are small, and that's a very large tree back there. But it takes a very big tree, and you can't go get that. Like, I told this fella like $11 or $12 a board, and I sort of shot myself in the foot on it, but I knew him, And anyways, I'm gonna get to that story too, but you got to do that. And now to the other part that I was just talking about with him. You know, you gotta know your value, I guess. But for pine, 75 cents to about $1.75 is what I charge, depending on the uniqueness of the lumber. If it's something extremely wide or fat and all, you know, you take a 8x8, you got to have about a 14-inch tree on the top end, on the small end, about 14 inches to get an 8x8 out of it. To get a good 8x8, can you squeeze it out of a 12, 13? Yeah, you probably can, but it's not going to be as good quality. Out of a 12 or 13, if it has just a little bow or rise, you've lost it. That's why I say you need a 14, 15-inch tree. Well, in doing so, that's a lot of lumber tied up in it. They're wanting a porch post, and we saw them out of pine porch posts. They last just as long. If you take and you got concrete and you put you a porch post bracket on the bottom and it keeps it up off the concrete, and you stain it, seal it, all that, take care of your post, man, that thing will last your lifetime, you know. But anyways, on that, and then the other part, if I saw my lumber for you, you're going to come pay me a deposit. I should have got a piece of paper, but I have a piece of paper. It says I'm charging this much per board foot an hour or whatever, if I go sawmill your lumber. And you sign it, date it, say yes, that's fine. And then down below it, it's like an Excel spreadsheet. It's got lines, and we put on there, you want 1.5 by 3.5, 14 feet, and I want 25 of them. And it's going to cost you, I'm just making these numbers up, it's going to cost you $5 and times 20 or whatever, and you put it on there, and that's what it is. And we add it up, say it's $300. Well, you're going to give me a $150 deposit. And also on there, it states that when we get done sawing, like, you tell us, hey, I need this by November the 20th. Okay, well, we're probably going to have it sawed by November the 5th to the 10th or something like that, around in there. I try to have it a week, 2 weeks ahead of time. And we put it in there. All right, you say you want it by the 10th or the 20th, whatever. I'm going to give you a week to 2 weeks to come pick it up from the date that you say you want it. After that, you lose your deposit. Like, we're gonna, and I'll sell your wood, you know, if you bring yours or if I'm sawing mine, because this is holding up my money. And plus, I don't have it. Yeah, we got a lot of land out here. I mean, it's probably a 2 or 3 acre spot here, but I don't have room to stack all this lumber up and just leave it and leave it and leave it. We got to have it moving. And that's what I tell people. And just like with this guy, like, I know him, he's a distant cousin and all, and I didn't take no deposit. Well, then he called me back like the next day, and he was like, man, I think I need it like 17 inches wide. And I was like, man, I can't cut that. But you had done told me you wanted 16. He was like, yeah, I need 14, 16, 1x16 boards. Well, I done cut it up. I'm not fixing to take another chance on an individual like that. If he wants post or anything, he's gonna come pay me a deposit, and that's what he gets. If you change your mind and I done sawed it, you're gonna pay for these plus anything else. If somebody comes up and they want them, that's fine. But if not, you get this lumber also, or you just lose your deposit on it. Don't matter to me. If it's $300 and I took a $100 deposit, you don't want to pay the other $200 because you ain't got nothing to do with it. That's fine with me. You can lose your $100 deposit. I'll saw you something else and go on with life. But if you don't want this and you decide you want something else, you're going to pay for the other in full before I ever saw it, because I'm not losing on it also. Because yes, I can take and rip this down into 1x8s, but the point is, I sawed a very big specialized log. I mean, a 30-inch log around here, you can get them, but it's not real common. You get the 18s and 20s. Yes, I'd take a 24-inch log and I'd saw 12-inch boards out of it all day long. So you got to know that, know your worth, and make people pay it. Don't matter if it's your brother, sister, whoever, because nowadays in time, nobody's word is worth anything. And that's what we do. Same way with white oak and all. I saw a lot of white oak for posts and beams and decking and stuff. And I just started doing the deposit thing because I got stuck on about 3 or 4 loads or orders. And but white oak, I charge like $1.75 to $2 for it. If you get post and beams and stuff, I usually do $1.75. If you want like 2-inch stuff, trailer decking and stuff like that, I'm gonna charge you $2 a board foot, because most people around here, they want like 18-foot stuff, or they want more than that, but all I can get is like 18-foot logs. But that's the other thing. If you need any more information on it, I'll probably put another video about sawmilling and all. So it's ever changing. I'm telling you this now. In a year's time, my whole thought process on billing and all liable to be different. So don't say, oh well, you said this, said that. Well, you learn with time and you go on. This is a new adventure. I've had a sawmill before. I charged to do it, but I wasn't in it as big and heavy as I am now, trying to make a legit business out of it. So it was more of a hobby before. And you're learning, or I'm learning, and it's fun. I enjoy sawmilling, and I think I'll enjoy it a whole lot getting under here doing it. And I'm wanting to make flooring, like house flooring and paneling and all that. So once I get that, get my edger underneath there, get me a kiln, get a molder planer and all that, I'll be good to go. I feel like I'll be happy as happy can be, and sell a good quality product at a cheap price. You gotta, I believe in starting off cheaper. If everybody else is selling it for $2 a board foot, I'm gonna sell it for $1.50, $1.75 if I can, and there's enough profit in it. And then as I get established, yes, I'll get up even with everybody else. And that's what I did with deer processing. I mean, I just tried to cut like 25 cents or so, and you get plenty of customers, and you know, you just keep on, and then every year you just increase your price a little bit, and it works out. And this is a year-round job, unlike deer processing, so you don't have to wait a whole year before you can increase your price. You can increase it from month to month as you see your revenue and all. If you get super busy with this, if you're working 20 days out the month and you're booked up for 2 weeks with a sawmill, increase your price. You may be too cheap. If you're working 5 days a month and you don't have no jobs lined up, you may be too high. You know, people ask all the time, this is a lt40 wide, and I see on the internet, what do you charge, or how should I charge? Well, you need to charge by the board foot. You know, if you got a lt15, in my opinion, I wouldn't pay anybody to come saw by the hour, because they're gonna say, yeah, I need $75, $80 an hour or whatever. And I've had a 15, and you can probably saw 100 board foot an hour, maybe more. I'm not saying you're limited to that, but yeah, you're charging them 75 cents a board foot, where I can come in with this sawmill, I can charge you $130 a board foot, and it's going to run you somewhere between 25 and 55 or 60 cents a board foot, depending on the material and the log and all. You got a bunch of dry, old, dirty logs or oak, it's going to take longer than fresh cut pine. I can zip through a pine. You take them pine trees over there, I can zip through them real quick. You take that big old dry hard stuff up there, it's going to take me longer to get through. We just went and done a mobile job this past week. I have a $400 minimum. We went down there, it took us like 3 hours, and I charged the guy $400. He was at like 50 something cents a board foot, but he wanted 1x8s, I think it was, and we cut some 1x4s, and I think we cut some 2x6s. he was happy as he could be, and it would come out to like 53 cents a board foot. But he had some big old pine trees. They was probably about like that one, you know, 24 inches, 24 inches. And he was happy as he could be. Man, it was a beautiful place. It was like, not no house, but it was big, open. You could see through it, and had just 24 and 36-inch pine trees all over the place. I done been there and saw it before, and they just die. And he had 4 or 5 more dead, and he was like, well, I'm not sawing them. I don't need no more lumber. So he said his uncle or cousin or somebody may come get them sawed. But yeah, that's it. Just be happy if you can do it. To me, $130 an hour for me and a helper. I pay my helper like 15 bucks an hour. And he's new. I'll pay more as it goes, but he's perfectly happy with $15 an hour. He said that's about the most he's ever made and all that. And he's got other benefits. He gets wood. I help him. He brings stuff to me also. He's a good guy. Like if there's a hose or something and he's got something, he'll bring it. But he gets more than $15 an hour. And as he learns, if he'll slow down and learn, he'll make more. I told him, you know, if he could ever get to where he could run the sawmill and all, I'd pay him more for it. And what I do on paying somebody like that is I pay 20 bucks an hour, and then the end of the month or quarter or whatever, I haven't had nobody to run it, so I don't know how I do it yet, but there's a $10 an hour bonus on there. And the $10 an hour bonus, why I hold it back is if they take this machine, I don't believe in charging your employees for tearing stuff up, really. Like if we're out here working and they break a drill or something, like they don't have to buy it. But this sawmill, if you're running it and you cut the back stops, you're rough on it, you're knocking the carriage out of alignment, yada yada yada. I'm not saying that we have to take it to Wood Miser once a year and it costs me $1,000. Am I holding it out of your pay? What I'm saying is if every month or 2 months it costs me $1,000 for this brand new mill when it hasn't cost me anything, because you're not paying attention, you're bending, breaking stuff and all that, it's coming out of your bonus, you know. So that's what I mean by that. And that's the only way I know how to do it. And then you get, I mean, it just holds everybody accountable. And most people enjoy a bonus. You know, they get a $800 check or whatever every week. And then at the end of the month or something like that, they get another $800 or $1,000 check. You know, crap, I'd be real happy with that. You know, that's even more money. You know, it's sort of like a little savings. So I'm going to do something like that. That's what we do with the deer processing. We have it set up, and we expect you to get a deer every 4 hours out. It's not impossible to do. You can do way more than that. You can get one out every 2 to 3 hours if you hustle, and you'll get an extra $1 or $2 an hour, or maybe $5 an hour. It depends on how hard you're working, how many you get out and all that, you know. So, you know, same thing. And we don't do that, say, every week. If, just say you're supposed to get 100 deer out and you get 90 out this week, next week you get 110 out, and the next week you get 100 out, well, you're breaking even. You're not getting a bonus. But if every week you're getting 90 out, you get 2 weeks in a row you get 90 deer out, well, not 90, but you get 110 out this week, next week, and a week after, well, you got 30 extra deer out, so you made us more money. So why not give that person extra couple $100 or whatever, you know, because it's just a production type thing. But any which way, you know what's happening on here. The sawmill shed's looking good. Got another video about that update. Hope to get it finished up in the next 2 weeks. But if y'all like it, just let me know. Maybe this will help people on the pricing. And I know I ramble about everything else, but there's so much that goes into it. It's not just cut and dry of it's $1 an hour. I mean, $1 a board foot or $100 an hour. It depends on what you're doing. But like, share, subscribe, get back with us, and you want to know something else, let me know and I'll touch base on it. Thank y'all.